In my past life, my stepmother betrothed me to a poor scholar while marrying my elder sister to the crown prince. Little did we know the crown prince would die young, collapsing on their wedding night and leaving my sister a widow. The poor scholar then transformed into the crown prince, ascended the throne, and became emperor. My sister entered the palace and stabbed me to death with a hairpin. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day of the betrothal, when my elder sister suddenly changed her mind and declared she would marry the poor scholar instead. I readily agreed to the switch, my mind set solely on becoming a wealthy widow. But on our wedding night, when the veil was lifted, it was still my husband from my past life. Shouldn't you be the poor scholar now? So my Empress truly intended to marry another? Main text: daughter refuses to marry Prince An's heir. I beg mother to betroth me to Scholar Lu. In the hall, my elder sister Xia Lingwan knelt on the ground, tearfully pleading with the first lady. The matriarch nearly fainted from rage. The Prince An's mansion was the prestigious match she'd painstakingly secured for Xia Lingwan. The impoverished Scholar Lu, however, was a marriage she deliberately thrust upon me to spite me. All because I was the Xia family's legitimate daughter, not born to her, the matriarch. I suspect Xia Lingwan's current outburst stems from her, like me, having been reborn. She believed marrying Lu Xiao would allow her to become empress, just as I had in my previous life. Mother, if you refuse, I'll take my own life. Xia Lingwan threatened suicide, leaving the lady of the manor no choice but to consent. The lady of the manor feigned distress as she turned to me, but this will be a hardship for Qin Yin. I nearly burst out laughing, hastily replying, not a hardship at all, not a hardship at all. The first lady reluctantly finalized the marriage swap. After consulting with the Lu family and the Prince of An's mansion, both households readily agreed, so smoothly it felt eerily suspicious. The mansion and the Lu family delivered their betrothal gifts on the same day. My gifts piled up to fill an entire courtyard. The mansion specifically instructed that my gifts be added to my dowry to be taken with me. Xia Lingwan's, however, consisted of only a plain silver bracelet, said to be a Lu family heirloom. In the past, she would have dismissed it without a glance, yet today she treasured it, slipping it on immediately. Surveying the courtyard full of betrothal gifts, I couldn't shake the feeling they differed from Xia Lingwan's in my previous life. It seemed like there were a dozen extra palanquins. And then there were the betrothal geese. In my past life, Xia Lingwan's had been a pair of wooden carved geese. Now, mine were a pair of live geese hunted by the crown prince himself. The servants flattered me one after another. The crown prince hunted these geese personally. It seems he holds Miss in very high regard. I've lived in the capital for decades and have never seen such lavish betrothal gifts. The groom truly cherishes Miss. Xia Lingwan muttered sourly from the sidelines, "Don't think you've struck gold, little sister. I hear Prince An is frail and sickly. You might become a widow before your time. May your words bring me good fortune." What? Oh no, how did I blurt out what I was thinking? What I meant was, thanks to your blessings, I'll surely live a good life once I marry into that family. After all, I'm about to become the youngest and wealthiest widow in the capital. Just thinking about it makes me happy. As for Xia Lingwan, you think you're walking a path to heaven, but little do you know the only road ahead leads to the underworld. On the very night Xia Lingwan married into the Prince An's household in her past life, the crown prince died suddenly. Overnight, Xia Lingwan became a widow. The prince and princess felt indebted to her, granting her permission to divorce and return home. Yet she refused, insisting on remaining in the mansion to observe widowhood. So the princess handed her the mansion's key and never restricted her social outings, raising her as if she were her own daughter. But Xia Lingwan always felt everyone was laughing at her, whispering behind her back that she was an unlucky widow. Gradually, she stopped leaving the house altogether, her personality becoming increasingly twisted. The princess consort often invited me to go and persuade her, but Xia Lingwan always shut me out. Later, after certain events unfolded, I became empress to Lu Xiao and invited her to the palace to admire the flowers. This time, Xia Lingwan finally agreed to leave her home for the banquet. I thought her spirit had finally lifted, but at the palace banquet, she suddenly went mad, stabbing me in the heart with her hairpin. Each thrust was savage and frenzied. "Why do you get to live better than me? I won't accept it. You don't deserve it. But she didn't know that being Empress hadn't brought me joy either. So if I could start over, I wouldn't marry Lu Xiao again. I only wished to live freely and unburdened once. That night, I was meticulously reviewing my dowry inventory. These possessions would be my lifeline for the rest of my days. For us women, the most crucial thing in life is having money. My personal maid, Dewdrop, suddenly let out a puzzled What is it? Mistress, this box sent by the groom contains nothing but storybooks. Lu Xiao muttered, The Legend of Zhu, the Story of the Lotus. Why are these all about women being fickle and straying? Let me see. Indeed. Some were even rare editions from the previous dynasty. It was remarkable he'd managed to gather them all. After much thought, I concluded the crown prince must have known about my betrothal to the Lu family. Worried I still harbored feelings for Lu Xiao, he deliberately sent these to remind me. Truthfully, he needn't worry. His days are numbered anyway. Once I'm widowed, even if I take a young lover, how would he ever know? But to ensure a smooth marriage into the royal household, I must placate him first. So I penned a love letter to Crown Princein. A single day without you leaves me mad with longing. I only wish to be with you, day and night. In the letter, I expressed my devotion with utmost sincerity. As for Lu Xiao, I paid him no mind whatsoever. I dispatched a messenger to deliver it to Prince Anne's residence, specifically instructing that it be placed directly into the Crown Prince's hands. That very day, an unexpected visitor arrived at my residence. Taking advantage of the sunlight, I was drying an ancient book left by my mother in the back garden. Early spring had brought apricot blossoms blooming throughout the garden. Amidst the overlapping shadows of blossoms, a figure clad in white stood silhouetted against the light, momentarily blurring my vision. Lu Xiao? What was he doing here? Then again, he was still my father's disciple at this time, often visiting our home to see him. Just as I prepared to step aside, he walked straight toward me. His expression was calm as he bowed in greeting. This humble scholar greets the young lady. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a jade pendant hanging at his waist, the very token of affection he had given me in my past life. So today, he had come to present that jade pendant to Xia Lingwan. Indeed, both Xia Lingwan and I were nothing more than pawns in his game. I shot him a contemptuous glance. This is the back garden. You shameless rogue, truly without shame. Your father instructed me to wait here. Did you not know I was about to marry into your family? Oh. Seems you can't wait. I wish you and your future wife 100 years of bliss, locked tight together. Just don't go corrupting others anymore. Lu Xiao pressed his thin lips together, the corners lifting slightly. I will. I muttered shameless. Under my breath, then dragged Dew away in a huff. Dew asked me, who was that gentleman just now? The penniless man my elder sister is to marry. So he's the future son-in-law. How come I sense such hostility from you, miss? I paused slightly, because I've disliked him for a long time. When Lu Xiao and I were newlyweds, we did share brief moments of tenderness. I was young then, swept off my feet by his sweet words, losing my senses and truly believing I was his one true love. It wasn't until the Empress Dowager and the 8th Prince fell from power, and Lu Xiao was welcomed back to the Eastern Palace, that I learned he was actually Crown Prince Xiao Jingxiao. A constant stream of beautiful women and talented ladies were sent to him, and he accepted them all without refusal. Though he granted me the title of Crown Princess, he no longer treated me with the tenderness and dependence of before. Often, he wouldn't come to my chambers for 10 days or even half a month. When I argued with him, he would immediately turn to seek comfort among those beauties. Later, when he became emperor and I was crowned empress, his behavior grew even more outrageous. He demoted my father, forcing him to retire to the countryside. I even overheard him say, "Daughters follow their fathers, their hearts are crooked." Then Lu Xiao abandoned state affairs and journeyed alone to Jiangnan, solely to retrieve his true love. Only then did I realize that all these years with me had been nothing but a charade. His true affection belonged to another. Consumed by melancholy, I invited Xia Lingwan to the palace for company, only to be stabbed to death by her. As death approached, I wondered if Lu Xiao was now with his true love. When he returns to the capital and hears of my death, will he feel a moment's sorrow? No. He'll likely rejoice that I vacated the throne in time for his true love. I despise Lu Xiao not because he didn't love me, but because he deceived me, misled me, and even took his anger out on my family. So in this new life, I live with extraordinary clarity. So-called love is but a fleeting illusion. Wealth and freedom endure far longer. Before marrying into the prince's mansion, there's one thing I must do. That is to reclaim my mother's dowry. All these years, the First Lady has held on to the dowry my mother left me, claiming she was managing it for me. In my past life, when Xia Lingwan married, the First Lady even gave all of my mother's dowry to Xia Lingwan without permission. I married Lu Xiao with only a few tattered quilts. Lu Xiao knew this matter troubled me. After returning to the Eastern Palace, he once offered to help me reclaim it. But by then, the First Lady had passed away, and Xia Lingwan avoided all contact. The matter was left unresolved. Indeed, one cannot rely on men for everything. One must fight for what is rightfully theirs. Hearing the princess consort was visiting our home today, I deliberately rushed into the main hall in a fluster. Mother! Trouble! Thieves have broken into the house. The main hall was filled with guests today, separated by a screen from the men's seating area. The First Lady scolded me disapprovingly, with honored guests present, "You must not speak nonsense." The princess consort, understanding, quickly interceded, "Don't blame the child. She just said thieves entered. Should we send someone to search?" Only then did the First Lady reluctantly ask me what had actually happened. Mother, while taking inventory of my dowry today, the 8 chests prepared by you and the 21 added by the royal household, I found 19 chests missing. Could they have been stolen? The First Lady's expression darkened. She had intended to secretly divert those chests to compensate Xia Lingwan. Nonsense. There were never 19 chests, only 14. Born into a prominent family, the princess saw through the deception at once. Her smile toward the First Lady faded, replaced by an air of authority. "Since you know so precisely, madam, perhaps you know where those trunks are?" A daughter-in-law of the prince's household is not to be trifled with. With the matter laid bare, the First Lady had no choice but to produce the items. She retorted with veiled sarcasm, "Mother was concerned about your youth and kept them for your sake. Yet here you are, staging this whole charade over a trifling sum. Your scheming is truly excessive. How could I not appreciate the First Lady's kind intentions? You were once inseparable from my mother, even choosing to become a concubine to share a husband with her. Now you show me such kindness, truly touching. Who doesn't know how to be sarcastic?" Suddenly, a low chuckle echoed from behind the screen, though no one could tell who had laughed. The First Lady was so enraged her hairpin tilted askew. She glared at me with fury. "The dowry is too voluminous and heavy. We lack sufficient hands in the household now. You must wait until I have time to attend to it." Just as I was about to speak, a maid arrived to deliver a message. "The Crown Prince says he brought several young servants today. They'll certainly help the second young lady move her late mother's dowry over." The First Lady gritted her teeth. The accounts are tangled and chaotic from years of neglect. They still need sorting out. How convenient, the Crown Prince even brought the royal treasurer along. The First Lady's voice rose several pitches. "Why didn't your Crown Prince just move his entire household over too?" No matter how unwilling she was, my mother's dowry must be returned to me today. I glanced toward the screen, where a tall, blurred figure gave me a slight nod. I curtsied in return. Who would have thought he'd be the one to help me so greatly? The Prince of An's heir is a good man, though fate has been unkind to him. Otherwise, I would surely thank him properly in the future. Upon learning her dowry was far less than mine, Xia Lingwan quarreled with the First Lady for days. She was always competitive, refusing to be second to anyone. Though we weren't close before our marriages, we had grown up together since childhood. When the First Lady skimped on my charcoal and food, Xia Lingwan secretly helped me. In my previous life, she became that way solely because of her pride and fear of gossip. This time, marrying Lu Xiao, she would surely ascend smoothly to become Empress above all others. Perhaps she would not repeat her past mistakes. Xia Lingwan and I were married on the same day. Before leaving home, I whispered to her, "Keep the jade pendant the Lu family gave you. It will protect you and bring you a lifetime of honor and wealth." "What jade pendant?" The Lu family couldn't offer anything besides that worthless bracelet. Didn't Lu Xiao come to present the jade pendant that day? That plain-looking jade pendant was actually an imperial token. This jade pendant had been kept by queens throughout the dynasty, meaning whoever possessed it was the Empress. Xia Lingwan asked no more questions and stepped out before me. The Lu family couldn't afford a wedding sedan chair, so only a red silk-decorated ox cart carried Xia Lingwan away. Meanwhile, I boarded the princely mansion's 8-man palanquin, heading in the opposite direction from my past life. Amidst the clamor of gongs and drums and the strains of celebratory music, the flower-adorned palanquin swayed to a halt. We must have arrived at the princely residence. A large hand with prominent knuckles reached inside. The fingers looked vaguely familiar. I murmured softly, "There's no need to trouble your highness. I can manage. He's a sickly man, he mustn't exhaust himself. He has to hold out at least until we've exchanged vows and become husband and wife." But in the next instant, he suddenly yanked my arm, and I found myself sprawled across his back. Through the veil, I could only feel his broad spine, and instinctively I clung tighter to him. I can walk myself. He adjusted me, securing me more firmly against his back, and strode purposefully toward the wedding hall. I recalled my previous life's wedding day with Lu Xiao, far more chaotic than today. Stepping down from the ox cart, I twisted my ankle, limping awkwardly through the entrance. Crossing the fire basin, I'd accidentally singed my skirt hem, sending everyone scrambling to extinguish the flames. Finally, when it came time for the couple's mutual bow, Lu Xiao and I collided hard forehead to forehead, the pain-making stars danced before my eyes. Looking back now, that wedding day was fraught with misfortune, no wonder it ended so tragically. This time, everything has gone smoothly. Surely our future will be unblemished. Your Highness, thank you. He paused, setting me gently down on the ground. After the ceremony, I waited for him in the bridal chamber. The thought that such a good man would suddenly die filled me with even deeper regret. So when I heard him return, I eagerly declared, "Your Highness, rest assured. I will treat the prince and princess consort as my own parents. I will care for them well. As long as I live, I will never leave the prince's residence." Suddenly, a jade scepter roughly lifted my veil. As it fell, I met a pair of furious eyes. Lu Xiao! How could it be him? I stared at him in terror. Shouldn't you be at the Lu residence? Lu Xiao sneered coldly, "My Empress is indeed destined to marry another." Dragon Phoenix candles crackled and popped. I tried to flee, but he seized me by the waist and slammed me back onto the bed. Lu Xiao pinned both my wrists high above my head with one hand, leaning down to force me to meet his gaze. Suppressing his rage, he demanded in a hoarse voice, "Who did you want to marry?" "Certainly not you." I didn't know where things had gone wrong, leading to Lu Xiao becoming the crown prince of Yin and me, once again by some twist of fate, marrying him. I struggled a few times, frowning. "I didn't know you were the crown prince. Otherwise, I would never have agreed to the marriage swap. Since there's no love between us, I beg you to let me go." Veins bulged on his forehead. After a long moment, he ground out 4 words through clenched teeth, "Absolutely impossible. Thinking you can push me around forever? Well, now that everything's out in the open, I'm not afraid to offend him. At worst, he'll get so angry he divorces me, and I'll take my mother's dowry and flee far away." I kicked him hard in the thigh, sending him tumbling off the bed. "Lu Xiao, Lu Mingde. Don't push your luck. You dislike me, and I find you utterly repulsive. Why not just let go?" Lu Xiao clasped his hands on his hips and snorted lightly. "Who was it who loved me to death? Who said my nose was so straight they wanted to swing on it like a swing? Who would love your big nose? It's hideous. You actually believed my empty flattery? That's laughable. And you promised to bear me 10 children? Was that a lie too? You barely visited my palace once in half a year. If I really had children, you wouldn't be pleased. I didn't go to your palace, but I didn't go to others either. I had my reasons." I shot him a withering look. "Your reasons are that you never turn anyone down. You bring every beauty you see into the harem, and you still find time to go outside the palace to fetch your white moonlight. They're all spies sent by various families. I never touched them. I thought you'd understand. Lu Xiao froze. Wait, what's a white moonlight? I covered my ears in irritation. I don't want to hear it. Get out! With that, I kicked Lu Xiao's pillow off the bed. He clenched his fists, pacing angrily in place. Then he lunged forward, grabbed my chin, and pressed his lips to mine with a fierce, almost vengeful kiss. A triumphant smirk touched his lips. Fine. You're not getting away anyway. He turned, picked up the pillow, and strode toward the door. I grabbed the wine flask from the table and hurled it at the door. You shameless bastard! The wine spilled across the floor, foaming white. Poisoned wine? Could it be that the crown prince of An suddenly died in my past life because he drank poisoned wine? I thought Lu Xiao had already left, but he heard the crash and rushed back. What's wrong? Seeing me crouched on the floor, staring blankly at the pool of white foam, he hurriedly pulled me aside. It seems someone is trying to harm my imperial uncle. Prince An was Lu Xiao's imperial uncle. The Empress Dowager and the 8th Prince had used threats and bribes to gain the support of most court officials. Even the imperial in-law's influence had infiltrated the court, leaving even the current emperor powerless. To protect the crown prince, he had to be sent into exile among the common people. But the Empress Dowager never gave up searching for him, simultaneously eliminating Lu Xiao's faction. Prince An, being part of the crown prince's faction, was naturally seen as a thorn in their side. I murmured softly, so, in my previous life, the crown prince was murdered. But why was Xia Lingwan unharmed? I suspect she didn't have time to drink the poisoned wine before my cousin succumbed to it. Fearing implicating herself, she claimed he died suddenly. Lu Xiao looked at me, speaking of which, it's thanks to your arranged marriage and my impersonation that my cousin avoided this calamity. So he knew about my arranged marriage swap and deliberately became the crown prince of Prince An. None of this was coincidence, it was all premeditated. What's in it for you? You. Gazing at his still slightly green handsome face, I looked away, my cheeks flushing. Lying dog of a man, I don't believe a single word. Want to catch the poisoner? I nodded in confusion as he leaned close to whisper in my ear. Is it possible? Why not try and see? My husband! How could I live without you? I threw myself onto Lu Xiao's chest, wailing at the top of my lungs. The commotion drew a crowd of servants. Lu Xiao lay motionless on the floor, eyes tightly shut, his body still twitching. A hand hidden beneath his sleeve squeezed mine. Ever since you drank that wine, you've been like this, I sobbed. I'm the one who ruined you. I'll join you now. With that, I grabbed the wine cup and downed it in one gulp. Then I collapsed onto Lu Xiao's body. Chaos erupted outside, some called for a physician, others sought the princess. He deliberately tickled my palm, nearly making me laugh out loud. I buried my face in the crook of his neck and retaliated by blowing on him. He knew my palms were ticklish, I knew his neck was sensitive. Soon, several guards dragged in a young servant. My lord, this man was sneaking toward the back gate to send a message. We found a vial of poison on him. Lu Xiao helped me to my feet. The assassin, seeing we were alive, was utterly dismayed, realizing everything had been our trap. You deceived me? Even if you kill me, I won't reveal who's behind this. Lu Xiao nodded. Then no interrogation. Execute him immediately. No, I'll talk. I'll talk. With no other options, the assassin confessed everything. The mastermind behind it all was indeed the maternal clan of Empress Ji, the Chui family. Lu Xiao ordered the assassin to be securely guarded. This would all serve as evidence to bring down Empress Chui in the future. After everyone left, Lu Xiao crossed his arms and studied me. Why did you change the script without permission? There was no scene of suicide by love before. It makes it more believable. My acting has always been quite good. Lu Xiao suddenly lowered his gaze, his fingers brushing the top of my head. If anything happens to me, I hope you'll live well. Don't do anything foolish. I dodged his hand. Of course. If you die, I'll take the money and live out my days as a carefree widow. Why do I feel like you've been planning this for ages? I blinked guiltily, suddenly remembering something. Then who married Xia Lingwan? Lu Xiao never existed in this world. Wherever I am, Lu Xiao is there. So Xia Lingwan could only marry a handful of yellow earth. She's a widow again? The third day after the wedding, we returned to her parents' home. I intended to go alone, but just as I was about to depart, Lu Xiao climbed into the carriage. Late spring, fallen blossoms clung to his shoulders. I muttered under my breath, he really is a womanizer. Humph, me flirting? Who do you think wrote love letters to some wild man, so sickeningly sweet it turns one's stomach? They weren't meant for you. The sickness comes from you reading what you shouldn't have. Lu Xiao gritted his teeth, turning his head away from me. After a moment, still clearly fuming, he yanked me into his embrace. I sat on his lap, struggling desperately. I whispered hoarsely, Lu Xiao, let me go. Instead, he tightened his grip, pinching the soft flesh at my waist until my whole body went limp. He knew exactly how my body reacted to such touches, deliberately using this tactic against me. If I let you go, you'll just get angry at me again. Lu Xiao rested his chin on my shoulder. I can't shake the feeling you've got all kinds of misunderstandings about me. Why do you hate me? Why do you avoid me? If I tell you, will you let me go? Yes. If I truly did something to wrong you, I'll let you leave. The journey from the prince's mansion to the Xie residence took 1 hour by carriage. I tore apart every wrong Lu Xiao had done to me over the years, laying each accusation bare before him. Back in the Eastern Palace, you always picked fights with me over nothing and brought back a bunch of beauties. I explained this to you before, those beauties were spies. I never touched them. As for the arguments, didn't you start them? Once, just because I didn't comb your hair in the morning, you dragged me around arguing for half a day. Because Lu Xiao kept so many beauties, I resented him and deliberately made his life miserable. We were young back then, neither of us willing to yield. Always competing, always seeking revenge. Is that so? I don't recall. But you slandering my father, forcing him into retirement, that wasn't a false accusation, was it? Lu Xiao pounded his chest in fury. Your father? I can't even bear to speak of him. Abusing his position as imperial father-in-law to form factions, embezzle, and commit fraud, had it not been for you, I would have had him chopped into mincemeat long ago. I let him retire in honor, yet he dared threaten me. What could he possibly threaten you with? He claimed the Empress, being most filial, would surely turn against me if she learned I'd wronged her father. As it turned out, I did turn against him. Before my father retired, he specifically came to me to complain, saying Lu Xiao had banished him out of fear of the imperial in-laws gaining too much power. Looking back now, Lu Xiao's promotion of my father, from a lowly 4th-rank official to a 1st-rank minister after ascending the throne, was clearly not an act of deliberate suppression. As for the deeds my father committed later, though I lived secluded in the palace, I had heard whispers of them. So you thought I was just like my father, devious and scheming? Lu Xiao paused, recalling the past, then shot me a speechless, sidelong glance. I was referring to Xia Lingwan accompanying your father, both harboring ulterior motives. Don't let her enter the palace to trouble you. So that was it. Lu Xiao's judgment was sound. I did indeed meet my end at Xia Lingwan's hands. Then what about the 6 months you didn't stay overnight in my palace? I didn't stay overnight, but why didn't you mention that I accompanied you for lunch every day? I was busy purging the remnants of the Chui clan back then, leaving early and returning late. Didn't you tell me not to disturb your sleep? That did happen. Before dawn, Lu Xiao would rise for court, and I was half dead with sleepiness. I declared he wasn't allowed to disturb my sleep anymore. But I'd never admit that, it'd be utterly humiliating. Even if Lu Xiao could explain every previous incident, his journey to the south for his white moonlight was undeniable. Just as I was about to mention Lu Xiao's white moonlight, the carriage came to a halt. Unlike my previous life, where I was neglected, this time my father personally greeted us at the gate. Since Lu Xiao hadn't become my father's disciple after his rebirth, my father genuinely believed he was the heir apparent. I asked my father, where are the First Lady and my sister? My father's expression changed, his smile fading. Go comfort your sister. She must be feeling terrible right now. Lu Xiao grabbed my arm, his brow furrowed. I turned back, puzzled. Stay safe. Don't worry. I wouldn't give Xia Lingwan a second chance to hurt me. Before even entering the First Lady's courtyard, I heard Xia Lingwan's sobs echoing from within. Why must my daughter suffer such misfortune? The Lu household burned to the ground, everything consumed, everyone perished. Now my daughter is a widow. Lu Xiao set fire to the Lu family? My dear, perhaps you should return home. After all, you and the Lu family never formally wed. It doesn't count. Xia Lingwan refused outright. No. If I return home, how will outsiders view me? They'll surely gossip behind my back, calling me an impure woman. Whether in her past life or this one, Xia Lingwan was forever ensnared by others' judgments. That's why she could never live a peaceful life. Seeing me enter, Xia Lingwan lifted her tear-stained face, while the First Lady composed her sorrowful expression. Mother and daughter both glared at me with fury, as if I had set fire to the Lu household myself. I curtsied to the First Lady. The Crown Prince and father are conversing in the front hall. He sent me ahead to offer my respects to the First Lady. Xia Lingwan shrieked, "The Crown Prince isn't dead yet? How could that be? He clearly..." Poisoned wine was discovered in the bridal chamber on their wedding night. Without that, the Crown Prince truly would have been in grave danger. Yet only those within the royal household knew of this matter. How could you, sister, have foreseen it? I merely spoke offhand. You too have offended too many people. Naturally, there are those who wish you ill. Xia Lingwan knew the wine in the flask was poisoned yet concealed it. Not only did she wish for the Crown Prince's death, she likely hoped I would be poisoned too. Such cruelty, I have shown her nothing but kindness and duty. I rose and sat down, offering her a faint smile. Heaven blesses us both. We shall live long lives and grow old together. When it came to infuriating Xia Lingwan, I had developed quite the knack. You! Xia Lingwan lunged at me in fury, but before she could reach me, she was stopped by the maidservant beside me. They were guards Lu Xiao had stationed to protect me. I rose and walked toward the exit. The First Lady hurriedly pulled Xia Lingwan back. Forget it. She's the Crown Prince's consort now. We can't touch her for the time being. If only I had married into the prince's mansion and switched the poisoned wine beforehand. Then I'd be the Crown Prince's consort now. How dare Xia Qinyan walk all over me? Indeed. If Xia Lingwan hadn't chosen to switch marriages after her rebirth, but had saved the Crown Prince on their wedding night instead, she would still be the radiant Crown Prince's consort today. The banquet in the front hall was already set. Lu Xiao and I took our seats together. Xia Lingwan and the First Lady arrived late. Lu Xiao sat with his back to them, unaware of Xia Lingwan's resentful gaze. Xia Lingwan wiped away tears feigning sorrow as she looked at Lu Xiao's back. Greetings, Crown Prince. Lingwan is an ill-omened person who should not have come here. Yet I was the one originally betrothed to you. My heart has long been set on you. Had my second sister not threatened suicide, I would never have relinquished my place. Today, merely seeing you once would satisfy me. She still harbors the delusion of marrying into the prince's mansion in my place. Lu Xiao placed a piece of plum-stuffed pork into my bowl, his eyes betraying undisguised delight. I never imagined my wife went to such lengths to marry me. I am truly touched. Xia Lingwan froze in place, a single tear still suspended at the corner of her eye. Why isn't this unfolding as she envisioned? Your Highness, do not be deceived by this woman. Xia Lingwan circled around to stand before Lu Xiao. Upon seeing his appearance, her pupils contracted and she shrieked. Weren't you burned to death? Why are you here? Miss Xia, mind your words. I am Xiao Jingche, Crown Prince of the Prince's household, your brother-in-law. Naturally, I am here. Only the three of us understood why Xia Lingwan reacted so violently. To outsiders, however, Xia Lingwan appeared utterly deranged. My father was already deeply displeased, fearing he might offend the Crown Prince of An. Step back at once. What a spectacle you're making. Shocked, Xia Lingwan alternated between tears and laughter, screaming hysterically. Where did it all go wrong? Why is this still happening? I was the one meant to marry you. I should be the future Empress. Lu Xiao remained utterly composed, not even glancing at her as he focused on serving food onto my plate. Impossible. No matter how many times we restart, my wife will always be Qingyun alone. This statement utterly shattered Xia Lingwan's pride. She realized Lu Xiao had also reincarnated. All her schemes, all her choices, had become a laughingstock. The matron beside the first lady murmured softly, "Look at the eldest lady, has she gone mad?" My father ordered Xia Lingwan dragged away. She likely wouldn't be released until she recovered. As the banquet drew to a close, Lu Xiao and I were about to leave when a limping old woman suddenly burst from the crowd. She reached for my hand, but Lu Xiao blocked her. "Second young miss, it's me." The lady of the house paled and immediately ordered the old woman led away. "Hold on." I scrutinized the old woman's face and gasped in surprise. "Aunt Shou? Didn't you return to my maternal home?" Aunt Shou had been part of my mother's dowry. After my mother passed away, she had returned to my maternal home in Yangzhou with the other dowry attendants. In my memory, she was gentle and beautiful. How could she have become this? I pushed Lu Xiao aside and stepped forward to take Zhou Auntie's hand. Tears streaming down her face, she pointed an accusing finger at the First Lady. Back then, she broke my legs and imprisoned me in the inner courtyard, forcing me to do the dirtiest, hardest work. Today, I risked my life to come and tell the second young lady the truth about what happened. Aunt Shou revealed that my mother hadn't died of illness at all. She had been poisoned by the First Lady, who was merely a concubine at the time. That vicious woman, relying on her pregnancy, forced my mistress to drink her concubine's tea. At first, she feigned humility, tending to my mistress daily by her bedside. It wasn't until my mother lay dying that Aunt Shou came to deliver medicine and overheard the conversation inside. Thinking my mother was near death, the First Lady revealed her true colors. Not only did she confess to poisoning my mother, but she also force-fed her the poison. Afterward, fearing discovery, the First Lady sent all of my mother's attendants to do menial labor and had them strictly guarded. The First Lady snapped, "You're lying. If you knew the truth, why didn't you speak up before? I see you clearly saw second young Miss marry into the royal household and wanted to climb the social ladder." I was also puzzled as to why Aunt Shou hadn't sought me out before. Aunt Shou wiped away her tears and said, "Before, second young Miss was alone and struggling. Even if she knew the truth, there was nothing she could do. But now I hear her husband protects her fiercely. Even if it costs me my life, I will avenge my young mistress." In my past life, I'd always feared the First Lady, timid and weak. When I married Lu Xiao, he was merely a penniless scholar without power or influence. He seemed utterly incapable of avenging his mother. This lifetime, I married into the royal household and boldly reclaimed my dowry. Thus, Aunt Shou believed I had the means to avenge my mother, risking her life to come forward. The First Lady tried to protest, but I'd already sent word to the authorities. Let her explain the rest to the magistrate. Before leaving, I asked my father, "Did you know about this?" My father was visibly flustered, stammering that he had nothing to do with it and that he too grieved my mother's death. Even if my father hadn't participated in poisoning my mother, but over the years, his indulgence had indeed led to the First Lady's harsh treatment of me. Soon, censors accused my father of failing to govern his household properly. The emperor ordered him to retire early to his hometown. The First Lady was executed by beheading for the irrefutable evidence of poisoning my mother. Upon learning this, Xia Lingwan completely lost her mind. My father took her back to their hometown, and it seemed unlikely they would ever return to the capital. Drawing on memories from my past life, Lu Xiao now navigated uncovering the Cui family's crimes with remarkable ease. He swiftly began dismantling their power, catching them completely off guard. As everything gradually fell into place, I felt the time had come for me to depart. During the Mid-Autumn Festival banquet at the prince's mansion, I met the true heir to the Prince of An, Xiao Jingche. It turned out he had been traveling abroad all this time. He bore a faint resemblance to Lu Xiao, yet his features were softer, those of a gentle and refined gentleman. I arranged to speak with him privately at the pavilion in the lake. "What brings you here, sister-in-law?" I cut straight to the point. Though Lu Xiao stood beside me at the altar, the marriage contract names you as my husband. Therefore, I request you write a letter of divorce. You wish to leave the prince's residence? I nodded once. Does brother Xiao know? He need not know. For once the Cui family falls and he returns to the Eastern Palace, no one will stand between him and his true love. By then, he will surely forget me, his nominal wife. To avoid complications later, I needed to secure the divorce papers now. Though puzzled, Xiao Jingche obediently wrote the divorce papers for me. Just as I was about to leave, Xiao Jingche called out to me. Sister-in-law, the day brother Xiao learned you were to be remarried, he came to me in the dead of night and drove me from our home. He truly loves you. Are you certain you won't reconsider? I gave no reply, walking toward the shore. Lu Xiao deliberately emerged from behind the trees, blocking my path. Good dogs don't block the way. He scoffed. Some people accuse me of being fickle, yet you're no better, chasing after every new thing. As soon as Che returned, you rushed right over. I deliberately provoked him. I'm the rightfully wedded crown prince's consort. Xiao Jingche is my lawful husband. I think he's quite good, at least better than you. Unaware of the commotion, Xiao Jingche was bowing to us from the pavilion. I smiled and waved at him. Lu Xiao yanked me into his embrace, cupping the back of my head with one hand as he pressed his lips to mine with force. I nearly gasped for air, weakly patting his chest. But he deepened the kiss, heedless of my protests. Only when warm tears streamed down my cheeks and pooled at the corner of his mouth did he finally release me, dazed. I slapped him across the face. Lu Xiao, you bastard. Truly, the status of a principal wife, the tolerance of a concubine, the behavior of a courtesan. His eyes reddened too, his voice choked with resignation. What must I do for you to stay? I turned and walked away. I feared I might soften again. Because it seemed I couldn't stop loving him. The day Empress Cui and the 8th prince were imprisoned, Lu Xiao was restored to his position as crown prince. I packed my belongings silently and left the prince's residence. Passing through the back gate, I overheard servants chatting. His Highness the Crown Prince left the city early this morning without even returning to the Eastern Palace. Seems he has someone very important to see. Sure enough, given another chance, he still wanted to reunite with his beloved. I knew full well how important that person was to him. After another argument with Lu Xiao, we ignored each other for half a month. But the matron by my side advised me, saying Lu Xiao was already deeply troubled by state affairs and urging me not to add to his worries. So I personally prepared some pastries and went to the imperial study to see him, hoping to make amends. I never announced my arrival at the imperial study, so Lu Xiao was unaware when I entered. I overheard him speaking with a court eunuch. Now that all of the Cui family's influence has been eradicated by His Majesty, the emperor can finally rest easy. Lu Xiao sighed, indeed. It is also time to bring her back from Jiangnan. I shall personally escort her home to show my solemnity. Your Majesty sent her to Jiangnan out of fear she might be implicated, such thoughtful consideration. All these years, Your Majesty's resolve has remained unwavering. She must surely understand. The eunuch inquired again, should we inform Her Majesty the Empress of this matter? Lu Xiao pondered for a long while. We'll discuss it upon my return. I didn't live to see Lu Xiao's return. Xia Lingwan killed me. I was actually relieved to have died before he came back. Because I truly couldn't bring myself to magnanimously relinquish the position of Empress, to sincerely wish him happiness with another woman. I hired a carriage to take me out of the city. Leaving the capital this time, I likely wouldn't return. Passing the wonton shop beneath the city gate, I asked the driver to wait a moment. In my past life, Lu Xiao and I often ate here. I liked mine loaded with dried shrimp, no scallions. Lu Xiao would always pick out every single scallion for me. One last time, then. I sat down and called out to the owner, bring me a bowl of wontons. Almost instantly, a bowl of wontons loaded with dried shrimp and devoid of scallions was placed before me. I frantically scanned the surroundings, but Lu Xiao was nowhere to be seen. Seems I was imagining things. Thank you, owner. I took a bite of the wonton soup, only to spit it out immediately. It was so salty. Disgusting. Lu Xiao's voice suddenly came from behind me. Huh? Still not to your taste? Looks like I need more practice. I turned around, staring at him in shock. What are you doing here? Waiting for my white moonlight. Right. You're here to meet your white moonlight, aren't you? Lu Xiao sat beside me, propping his chin on one hand, looking deeply troubled. Actually, I've been meaning to ask, why do you keep mentioning this white moonlight? It's that woman you personally went to Jiangnan to fetch in your past life. You hid her there all this time, afraid she'd get dragged into trouble. I know everything now. Lu Xiao snapped back instantly, you know jack shit. You dare insult me? Come with me. He grabbed my hand and rode straight out of the city. We waited outside for a long time until a carriage, dusty and weary, came rushing up and stopped before Lu Xiao. I twisted the hand he was holding. I don't want to see her. No, you must. Lu Xiao, are you out of your mind? I was ready to give you both your wish, and now you have to disgust me, huh? Fine. I'll see for myself what kind of girl could make him obsess over her for 2 lifetimes. Fuming, I stepped forward and yanked open the curtain. A white veil was slowly lifted, revealing an old man who barked sternly, impudent brat. Who gave you permission to block this old man's carriage? I froze in place. You are. Lu Xiao's laughter echoed behind me. The old man narrowed his eyes and recognized him. Humph. No wonder such disrespect, it's you, my boy's wife. Of all my students, you've been the worst. Lu Xiao bowed respectfully to the old man. Master, now that you're back in the capital, you have all the time in the world to scold me. But you'd better hurry and explain things to my wife, or I'll lose my home. This old man was none other than Lu Xiao's teacher, Master Qin. Master Qin was outspoken and quick-tempered. Years ago, to ensure Lu Xiao's safe departure from the palace, he had staged a fake accident. He took Lu Xiao out, and their carriage plunged off a cliff, leaving both men missing. In his previous life, the person Lu Xiao personally went to Jiangnan to fetch was none other than Master Qin. That was why he had insisted on personally retrieving him to show proper respect. Lu Xiao breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, everything's clear. My dear wife, my dear lady, please don't be angry with me anymore. But turning back now would be utterly humiliating. Suddenly, old Master Qin's roar pierced my ears. But what? Both of you, get back up here. Lu Xiao and I obediently climbed back into the carriage. Old Master Qin unleashed a torrent of scolding upon us both. You two are always thinking about love and romance. You, go train in the 6 ministries. Your servant obeys. And you, go back to the Eastern Palace and settle in as Crown Princess. If that brat bullies you, tell me, I'll whip him for you. If you keep dithering, I'll whip you too. Yes, yes, yes. Lu Xiao and I exchanged glances, wanting to cry but finding no tears. That night after moving back to the Eastern Palace, I had a very long dream. In the dream, I had become a wandering spirit, drifting aimlessly through the palace. Until I saw Lu Xiao returning from outside the palace. He was brimming with joy, preparing to return to the capital to share good news with me. After that, we could finally be together without a care in the world. No need to worry about the spies in the harem. No need to deliberately keep his distance from me. Yet when he returned to the capital in high spirits, what awaited him was news of my death. The young emperor turned white overnight, his form gaunt and withered. The entire Imperial Medical Institute stood powerless. On the 7th day after my passing, he followed me in death. His heartstrings severed, he succumbed to depression. I awoke from the dream in tears, Lu Xiao watching me anxiously in the darkness. Did you have a nightmare? Lu Xiao, if we ever have a child, we must give her all our love, okay? For a child raised in love will love others well when loved. But a child never properly loved will only desperately seek proof they aren't loved when embraced. Lu Xiao's voice was hoarse. Husband wants children? Then we should try now. That's not what I meant at all. Come then. Let's not waste this auspicious moment. The story ends here. Thank you for watching. The next chapter will be even more exciting.